Hey guys, there we go, recording again. Before I tell you about what I would like to share with you, let me just say I took a look at one of my previous videos and I realized just how much I do look like Mr. Potato Head. somebody told me from one of the previous videos, they told me I look like Mr. Potato Head. I thought it was quite funny, and you're actually right, I do look a bit like Mr. Potato Head, eh? But hey, I've been called worse things than Mr. Potato Head. No, I can live with that. About what I'd like to share with you guys now is, if I could call it a message, and it's not a message, it's just me sharing with you, but if it was a message, I'd say it's don't be a schmuck. Now, in order for that to make any kind of like a real sense to you guys, let me just explain to you what I mean by a schmuck. A schmuck is gullible, lazy, and content. When I'm talking about a schmuck, it's those things: gullible, lazy, and content. And where the whole thing came from is I was speaking to somebody, and somehow we got onto the subject of eternity and, you know, life beyond this life as we know it. And their approach to it was, yeah, well, you know, we'll just figure it out when we get there. We'll just see what it is on the other side. You know, that typical, yeah, she'll be all right kind of attitude. And it's a terribly big risk to take that, isn't it? You know, I mean, I laugh about it now, you know, and the concept of schmuck. But it's actually a really big thing, you know, because you get to the other side, it's an awfully big maybe to base your whole life and your whole eternity on. Just she'll be all right. And I call it schmuck, and I've thought about these things actually, this lazy, gullible, and content, because lazy, because the people are happy to just accept the easiest explanation, kind of like water, the path of least resistance, whatever is the easiest for us to do life by, we'll accept that. Gullible is, you know, how do I get to heaven? You know, how do you get to the other side? What is on the other side? Yeah, maybe there's nothing. Okay, yeah, maybe there's nothing. And if there is something, yeah, you'll be all right when you get there, because you just got to live a good life. And content is just that kind of like a, yeah, who knows, kind of an approach to life. And what makes it bad is that people are being led astray by this more than any other false teaching or false religion, than anything else. You know, it's the technical term being secularism, where everything goes, everything is acceptable almost, and it really should be breaking our heart. And I want to say to people, don't be a schmuck. And the reason why I say that is, believe something, man. You know what? If you don't believe in God as in God the Trinity, God the Father and the Holy Spirit, and that is the truth, I believe that's where you'll end up. But even if you don't believe that, you know what? I've got more respect for an atheist. I've got more respect for a Buddhist. I've got more respect for people of a different religion that have gone and really taken a look at what it is that they believe in. People that are prepared to say, you know what, I'm not going to just be somebody who's drifting around in the middle. You know what? Being a schmuck is being worse than being an atheist. It's the lowliest form of spiritual awareness. Don't do that, man. Go and read the Bible, read the Quran, go and find out about Buddhism. Go and just start at some point, or even just start the point and say to yourself, is there a greater power? Is there a God that exists? Man, I'm not scared to tell you to do those things. I'm not scared. You know the reason why? It's because the Bible can stand up to scrutiny. The Bible will stand up to scrutiny. And if you go and you search, I believe that you will find the true God. But don't take my word for it. Don't be a schmuck and take my word for it. Go and find these things out for yourselves. And if you've gone into great depth and if you've read, you will, and you get to the other side and you're an atheist, I'd rather you have gone through that exercise and end up at that point. Because it's been my experience that most people who start out as atheists end up as sold out Christians who find the truth somewhere along the line. And that is just the greatest. But don't be a schmuck, man. Don't let somebody else dictate to you whether there is or there isn't a God. Don't let somebody else dictate to you how you should believe. Don't be too lazy to get off your butt and go and find out what the truth is. The horrible thing about it is, for me, is that people think, oh yeah, well, if I've been a good person and I don't get into heaven, I've at least been a good person. Man, you're talking about the same hell that Hitler is probably in. I don't know what happened in Hitler's last minutes, but the point that I'm making to you is your schmuckness will get you into the same hell as a mass murderer, as a rapist. There is no good hell. There is no okay hell. There is no not so nice hell. There isn't just a bad hell. It's just a really dark, rotten place. Now, if you think that I'm one of those guys that are just brimstone preaching or something like that, man, I'm not even a preacher, but I do care. And if it's true, you should think about it. And I'm not even trying to convince you of God right now. I'm just trying to convince you not to be a schmuck, not just to sit back and let somebody else tell you, just be a nice person and everything's going to be okay. Go read. Go find out about these things, man. Don't be a schmuck. Suppose somebody will look at this and say, well, that's a different kind of way of portraying it, and yeah, I suppose it might be a bit of a different way. But to me it makes sense, and I hope it makes sense to you. Don't be scared to read the Bible, even for you Christians out there. Don't be scared to read the Bible and ask questions and study about things that you're not sure of. Sometimes, and I know I've been guilty of this, I've had questions in my mind about how did God do that and still be a God of love? How is it that these things come together? How is it that this logic and that logic fits into each other? And you know what, I've got to tell you now, there has not been one question that has gone unanswered. Sometimes it's taken me years to find the right answer. Sometimes it's been just like that I found the right answer. But the Bible, you'll find, will stand up to scrutiny. Go and look it up. Cheers.